I am going to say this once, and I need you to hear it as a fact, not as encouragement. What you have been asking God to confirm, He already has. The answer you were waiting for is not still forming in heaven. It has been decided, sealed, and released. And the reason this word is reaching you at this specific moment is because you are finally ready to receive it without rationalizing it away. There is a reality your spirit has known for a long time, even when your mind could not prove it. That quiet conviction that kept refusing to die, even in the months when nothing in your life gave you a reason to hope. That conviction was not denial. It was accurate. It was a deposit, a guarantee that the promise was real, even when the timeline felt broken. Today, the deposit is becoming the full inheritance. The waiting is finished. The delay is closed. Your time to shine is not approaching the horizon, it has crossed it, and nothing assembled, whispered, or attempted against this moment has the authority to reverse what God has already confirmed. Stay with me. I am about to show you exactly what He has signed off on. Two things are about to happen in the time we spend together here. The first, I am going to walk you through the 5 specific signs that God has already placed in your life as your confirmation. Not vague feelings. 5 unmistakable markers your spirit has been trying to show you. The second, before this ends, I will lead you through a declaration that seals this shift permanently into your life. 5 signs, 1 seal. That is the promise of what you are about to hear. It is early morning. You have just opened your eyes a few seconds before the alarm would have gone off. The room is still, dim, but the first line of light has begun to slip through the edge of the window, laying itself quietly across the floor. There is a question sitting in your chest. You have carried this question for longer than you want to admit. It has followed you into rooms, into conversations, into prayers that started strong and ended in silence. The question is simple. Is anything actually going to change? The house is quiet. The rest of the world has not started yet. And into that quiet, into this exact moment, something is about to be spoken over your life. Before we go any deeper, I need you to hear me on something. What I am going to share with you over the next little while is not a pep talk. By the time we reach the end of this, you will walk away with the 5 signs God has already confirmed over your life. A simple tool that takes 10 minutes a day, that helps you stop missing what is already in motion. A complete reframe of the hidden season. You have just walked through that closes the wound of feeling forgotten, and a sealing declaration that changes the atmosphere around every step you take next. If you are tired, if you almost clicked away a minute ago, stay, because what comes next was prepared for this exact moment in your life. You will feel it by the time we finish. I want to begin by naming what you just walked through, because you cannot step into a new season while the old one is still unvalidated inside you. You have been in a hidden season. I do not need to explain to you what I mean by that word, because the moment I say it, something in you already recognizes the meaning. You know the exact stretch of time I am talking about. It was the season where you watched almost everyone else's life move forward, while yours felt stuck in a frame. Promotions announced, relationships forming, people getting what they had been asking for. And you, showing up day after day to a life that did not seem to be changing at all. You kept praying. You kept showing up. And for a long time, nothing visible answered back. Some of you were hidden while caring for someone who could not care for themselves. Some of you were hidden while rebuilding after a collapse that took more from you than you have told anyone. Some of you were hidden inside a marriage, a job, a family system surrounded by people every single day, and yet not one of them actually saw what you were carrying underneath. The loneliness of that season was not the kind you can fix by being around more people. It was the loneliness of walking through something that made you different in a way only God seemed to understand. That was real. I am not here to minimize it. I am here to tell you what was actually happening inside it. You didn't know that the silence of that season was not God's absence. It was God's architecture. What felt like him withdrawing was actually him building, quietly, underneath your life, the foundation your next season is going to stand on. The silence was not abandonment. It was construction happening in a place your eyes could not reach. You didn't know that every single time you almost gave up, and didn't every single time something was being deposited into you that could not be deposited any other way. Not through a sermon. Not through a book. Not through community. Only through the specific weight of staying faithful in a place where there was no applause, no audience, no confirmation that it mattered. That faithfulness was not wasted. It was deposit. You didn't know that the people who should have recognized you in that season, and didn't the ones who looked right past you, the ones who got what you were praying for before you did, the ones who seemed blind to what you were carrying, that was not a failure of your visibility. That was protection. Because if they had recognized you then, they would have pulled you up onto a platform your roots were not yet deep enough to hold. And the same people who would have elevated you early would have been the first to watch you fall when the weight of it cracked you open. Heaven was not going to let that happen to you. You didn't know that the hidden season was not the punishment for something you did wrong. It was the preparation for something you are about to receive. And the version of you that is needed for what is coming, the level of steadiness, the level of discernment, the level of not flinching when the light finally hits, that version of you did not exist before the hiding. It exists now, because of the hiding, not in spite of it. So you kept going, not because you had proof, not because the circumstances gave you a reason. You kept going because there was a conviction inside you that nothing in the visible world could explain. And that conviction was not your imagination. It was real, and it was being honored above your head the whole time, even when you could not feel it. Here is what I need you to understand before we take the next step together. If the hidden season had a purpose, then the exit from the hidden season also has a signal. Heaven does not move you from preparation to manifestation without telling you it is time. God is not going to hand you the shine and then leave you guessing whether it is actually yours. There are markers. There are signs. There is a pattern. And those signs are not in the future. They are already in your life, right now, in the last weeks and months, if you know what you are looking at. There are 5 of them, specific, unmistakable, already present, and once I walk you through them, you will not be able to unsee them. The confirmation you have been asking God for has been sitting in front of you the whole time. You simply did not have the frame to recognize it. If what I just said named a season you have actually walked through, type 2 words in the comments. I see it, not as a performance, as a small agreement between you and God that you are ready to see what comes next. But there is one thing you need to understand before I show you the first sign, because without this one piece, you will miss the confirmation even when it is standing directly in front of you. And I cannot let you miss it. Not today. Here is the piece most people miss. Confirmation from God almost never arrives the way we imagine it will. We picture a burning bush, a loud voice, an unmistakable sign in the sky that leaves no room for doubt. And because that is what we are scanning for, we look right past the way confirmation actually shows up most of the time, which is through pattern recognition, quiet inner settling, and unlikely access. It is the same reason that inside a brain entrainment lab, people sometimes do not notice their own state shifting until 20 minutes in. The signal is present the whole time. The mind is simply listening for the wrong kind of evidence. In fact, much of the deeper research being done into how chosen ones recover, what a hidden season suppressed, a body of work that maps a full arc of restoration across several distinct phases, begins with exactly this problem. We have been trained to look for drama, and we miss the whisper that is already confirming us. That is why so many chosen ones are in the middle of their confirmation season and still asking if it is coming. It is not coming. It is already here. But until you have the frame, you will walk past it 5 times a day. So I am going to give you the frame. 5 signs, one at a time. The first sign of divine confirmation is unlikely doors opening quietly. This one almost never looks like what you are expecting. It is not a thunderclap. It is not a dramatic breakthrough that everyone around you celebrates. It is the opposite. It is small, easy to dismiss, and often happens in a moment when you were not even asking. A door opens. A conversation starts that should not have started. A person you barely know mentions your name in a room you are not in. An opportunity arrives in your inbox through a sequence of events you did not design, and because it came quietly, because no one announced it, your first reaction is often to question whether it even counts. Here is why it counts. Doors that are simply luck tend to require you to fight to hold them open. Doors that are divine confirmation have a particular quality. They open without your striving. They stay open without your performance, and they feel less like an achievement and more like something being handed to you. If you look at the last 4 to 6 weeks of your life, and you can point to even one door that opened this way, that was not coincidence. That was heaven telling you the hidden season has ended. The second sign is one you might have already noticed without recognizing what you were noticing. There is a specific fear that used to run your life. I cannot tell you what yours is, but you know it. It is the fear that made you small in certain rooms. It is the fear that kept you silent when you had something to say. It is the fear that had a grip on you for years. And in the last season, something changed. It still shows up. It still visits. But it no longer controls the action the way it used to. This is not because you became braver through effort. It is because something in your underlying architecture has already shifted. Researchers studying cognitive resilience, the kind of work connected to protocols like the youthful brain, have documented that when a person's nervous system actually enters a new season of readiness, fear does not disappear. It simply stops having authority. You do not have to add courage on top of yourself. You have to notice what has already been removed from underneath you. If a fear that used to stop you 6 months ago now feels loud but powerless, if it still speaks but no longer drives, that is confirmation. Your internal system has already moved into the next season. The circumstances are just catching up. The third sign is people showing up with exactly what you need before you ever ask for it. This is one of the most unmistakable markers of a confirmed season, and it almost always happens in clusters. A person calls at the exact moment you were in the middle of a question. A stranger says something in passing that lands like an answer. Someone who has no context for what you are walking through hands you a resource, a book, a referral, a name, a sentence, and it fits. 1 instance is coincidence. 2 instances is a pattern worth noticing. 3 instances, in a short window, is heaven intervening directly. When God confirms a new season, He does not usually announce it by changing all your circumstances at once. He announces it by sending the right people into your proximity and letting them say what you needed to hear without you ever having to explain yourself. If you look at the last weeks of your life and you can count 3 moments where someone brought you something they had no way of knowing you needed, pay attention. That is not chance. That is deployment. Your confirmation has been arriving through people who did not even know they were being sent. If any of the first 3 have already shown up in your life, type 2 words in the comments "I've seen it." Let that be a small agreement with what is already happening. The fourth sign is one that confuses most chosen ones, because it looks at first like something is wrong. In a confirmed season, your clarity about what you will not do arrives before your clarity about what you will do. And because we have been trained to look for vision, the big picture, the 5-year plan, the step-by-step blueprint, we miss that God is actually speaking to us in the opposite direction first. You find yourself no longer willing to tolerate things you used to tolerate. Certain conversations stop feeling acceptable. Certain commitments feel wrong the moment you are about to agree to them. A version of your life you were about to step back into suddenly becomes unthinkable. You do not have a clear replacement yet, but something in you is drawing lines where there used to be open doors. This is not indecision, this is subtraction. Before God can give you the new season in full color, He has to remove the things that would compete with it. The no's arrive first because they clear the runway. And the people around you who do not understand what is happening may read this season as you becoming difficult or distant. What is actually happening is that you are becoming discerning. Your filter has upgraded because your calling is coming online. The fifth sign, and this one is the most tender, is that the old dream has started to feel smaller than what is actually being offered to you. For years you dream, you held it carefully, you prayed over it specifically, you imagined what it would feel like to see it come true. And now, in the last stretch of months, something unexpected has happened. You sit with that same dream, and it still matters, but it no longer fills the room the way it used to. Not because it failed. Because your spirit has been quietly enlarging. The old dream was accurate for the version of you that first received it. But the version of you that walked through the hidden season is larger. And the calling that was being prepared in you during that season is bigger than what you originally asked for. When you imagine the full realization of your first dream now, something in you whispers, there is more than this. That whisper is not ingratitude, it is capacity growing. God will often confirm a new season, not by giving you the thing you asked for, but by enlarging the ask. The original dream still gets fulfilled. It gets fulfilled inside a larger container. If you notice your imagination reaching past what you used to settle for, that is not distraction. That is confirmation of a promotion you have not yet accepted. Let me tell you what was actually being built in the hiding, because once you see it, every sign I just listed will lock into place. You know the story of David. The prophet Samuel walked into the house of Jesse, looked past 7 older brothers, and called for the youngest, the one who was out with the sheep, the one nobody thought to invite. Samuel poured oil on his head in front of his entire family, and anointed him as the future king of Israel. And here is the part of the story most people skip. David went back to the sheep. He had just been anointed. He had just received a confirmation that should have changed everything. And what did he do? He returned to a hidden field, to a job that paid nothing in recognition, to a life that on the outside looked exactly the same as it had the day before. Years passed. Saul tried to kill him. He hid in caves. He lost people he loved. He grieved. He kept showing up. By the time the crown actually came, David was not the untested boy with oil on his forehead. He was tempered steel. The years between anointing and enthronement were not delay. They were reinforcement. The hiding was not the opposite of the calling. The hiding was the making of the king. What was true for him is true for you. The season you just walked through did not take you further from the shine. It built the shoulders that are about to carry it. Before we go any further, if this is landing, if any of what we have walked through so far named something that is actually happening in your life right now, gently press the like button, so that this word can find another chosen one who has been asking God for a sign and is about to scroll past the answer. Let me show you what this looks like in a normal life. There is a woman I want to tell you about. She is in her early 40s. 10 years ago, she felt a very specific calling on her life, teaching, leading, a particular kind of public service. Then her family went through a hard stretch that demanded everything from her. 7 years passed. Somewhere in that stretch, she stopped journaling about the calling. She stopped expecting it. She assumed, quietly, that the window had closed. One Tuesday morning last November, an email arrived in her inbox, unsolicited, from someone she had not spoken to in years, asking her to teach something she had stopped calling herself. 3 weeks later, she was doing it. Later, she told a friend that the sign she had missed, the thing that should have told her it was coming, was how quiet her anxiety had become in the 6 weeks before that email arrived. And I hear the Father saying this over you right now. I did not hide you to hurt you. I hid you to heighten you. What we just walked through was the truth that shifts everything. But now, I have to tell you what usually happens right after this truth settles. And why most chosen ones stumble at this exact point, even after the confirmation has already arrived. The reason most chosen ones stumble at this exact point is not because the confirmation was unclear. It is because the confirmation arrived faster than their ability to believe they actually deserved it. There is a word in ancient Hebrew that changes how you read the moment you are standing in right now, spelled Q-U-M. It does not mean stand up slowly. It does not mean think about standing. It is a commanding verb. It means arise, sharply, without negotiation, without more delay. This is the word used when Boaz tells Ruth to rise in the night. This is the word carried into Greek when the angel breaks into Peter's prison cell and tells him to stand up as the chains fall off his wrists. It is the verb spoken over every person in Scripture who was in a stuck or hidden place and whose stuck place was finished in a single moment. And I hear the Father speaking that same verb over your life right now. Come, arise, the season that was meant to end you has ended instead. A threshold moment asks 2 questions of you, and most people never notice they are being asked. The first question is whether you will leave the tools that kept you alive in the hidden season. The tools of staying small, staying quiet, staying unseen. These are not shameful tools. They were the right tools for that specific time. They carried you through. But they are not the tools of the visible season. You cannot walk into shine, still wearing a coat of invisibility. Will you carry what was given to you inside the hidden season into a place where those lessons now belong to other people? The discernment you earned in the quiet. The depth you built when no one was watching. The intimacy with God that only long silence can forge. All of that was deposit. And the deposit is now being asked to go to work. Standing in a threshold is not comfortable. Most people assume that the moment of crossing will feel like celebration. It almost never does. It feels like the strangest combination of relief and terror you have ever known. And here is what I need you to understand about the terror part. It is not lack of faith. It is the reasonable response of someone who has just realized that the breakthrough they asked God for is actually coming to collect. You know the story of Esther. She was placed inside the palace, favored, chosen, positioned quietly for years before anyone understood why. And when the moment finally came for her to stand up and speak, the moment her entire life had been preparing her for, she was terrified. She understood, clearly, what it could cost her. The law said that anyone who approached the king uninvited could be killed. She had watched what happened to the queen before her. Her fear was not a failure of character. It was the honest reckoning of a woman who had finally understood that her life was being used for something bigger than her own survival. Mordecai's words to her were not harsh. They were surgical. He told her, "Perhaps you were brought to this exact position for this exact moment, and staying silent will not save you. Hiding inside a palace you were sent into for a purpose will cost you more than speaking ever could. She went, she spoke, everything changed. Not only for her, for an entire nation. Here is what that story tells us about the moment you are walking into right now. Your fear of the breakthrough is not a lack of faith. It is the reasonable response of someone who has started to feel the actual weight of the calling. That is not disqualifying, that is appropriate. Anyone who does not feel the weight has not understood what was handed to them. But staying small will not protect you. It will only postpone you. And the postponement has its own cost. The cost of watching yourself shrink one more year, while the people you were sent to reach wait in rooms you were supposed to be walking into already. I want to speak some permissions over your life right now. Not suggestions, permissions, the kind that close the argument your fear has been having with your calling for too long. You have permission to let the breakthrough scare you and still walk straight into it anyway. Fear and obedience are allowed to share a room. You do not have to wait until you feel ready, because readiness in the visible season is not a feeling. You have permission to actually want what you have been asking for. Wanting it does not make you greedy. It does not make you arrogant. It makes you honest. And heaven can only hand the full answer to someone who is honest about wanting it. You have permission to stop making yourself smaller so that the people around you stay comfortable. The people who need you to shrink are not the people you were sent to serve. The ones you were sent for are waiting for the full version of you, not the reduced version. You have permission to let your family, your friends, your circle, the ones who got used to the quieter, hidden version of you, reorient themselves to the version of you that is now standing up. It is not your job to suppress yourself so they do not have to adjust. They will catch up. And the ones who cannot catch up were never part of this next chapter anyway. You have permission to rise. Let me pause for a moment. You have been with me for a while now, longer than most people stay with anything in their day. I want you to notice that, not as an accomplishment, just as a fact. You did not click away when you had every reason to. Something kept you here. That something has a name, and that name is why this word is actually for you. Not for the person who needed a pep talk. For the person who needed the truth to land somewhere inside them where it could not be unsaid. Before we continue, take one slow breath with me. Not to fix anything, not to release anything. Just to be here, in this specific minute of your life, with your attention present. All right, now let me tell you what comes next. Because conviction, without a tool, evaporates by next Tuesday morning. And I am not going to leave you with a beautiful moment, and no way to hold on to it when the week gets heavy again. In the next few minutes, I am going to give you a simple practice. 10 minutes a day, 3 questions. One of them is going to feel counterintuitive, meaning the moment I say it, part of you will want to dismiss it as too small. Do not dismiss it. That one is the question that reveals the most. This practice is how you stop missing what has already been confirmed. It is how you train your attention to see the answers that are already sitting in your life but slipping past you because you do not have the frame. And it is how you walk out of this with something useful in your hands, not just a feeling in your chest that fades by Thursday. If you are still with me, if you are ready to not just receive this word, but actually carry it into the rest of your week, type 2 words in the comments, I receive. Let that be your small agreement that the shine is yours and you are not going to let it walk past you one more time. Remember the 2 promises I made at the very beginning. The first one, the 5 signs of confirmation that God has already placed in your life. We walked through every single one of them together. The second promise, the sealing declaration that locks this shift permanently into your spirit, that one is coming at the end. But before we get there, there is something specific I can put in your hands that you can start using tomorrow morning. And that is what we are stepping into now. The practice I want to put in your hands is called the confirmation audit. It is 3 questions, 10 minutes a day, 7 days. And by the end of those 7 days, you will have more evidence of God's confirmation in your life than most people collect in a year of searching, not because the evidence was not there before, but because you did not have the frame to catch it as it was passing through. Let me walk you through each question in order, because the order matters. The first question is this: over the last 30 days, what unlikely access has opened in your life that you did not strategize for? A door, a conversation, a resource, a name that came up out of nowhere, a phone call that arrived at the exact right minute, something that showed up without you building a plan to make it show up. Write down 3 instances if you can find them. Just 3. In 3 separate lines in a notebook or a note on your phone. You are not analyzing them yet, you are just noticing them. Because confirmation you do not write down tends to evaporate inside 48 hours. Your mind normalizes it. Your mind tells you it was coincidence. And by the next week, you have forgotten that heaven spoke to you. The second question is the one I warned you about, the counterintuitive one. Here it is. What old fear has stopped working on you? Not the fears that have been completely defeated, not the ones you have overcome, the ones that still show up, still visit, but no longer have authority over your actions the way they did 6 months ago. Most people audit themselves by asking what new courage they have added. That is the wrong direction entirely. The deeper signal of a confirmed season is not what you are adding on top of yourself. It is what has been quietly removed from underneath you. A fear that used to stop you and now cannot. A voice that used to control your decisions and now just sounds like background noise. That is data. That is confirmation your internal architecture has already shifted. Write down 1. You do not need more than 1. Just 1 fear that has lost its grip, even if it still whispers sometimes. The third question is the tenderest one, and it is the one most chosen ones skip because it asks them to admit something they have been afraid to admit.